Alrighty, turn 9, December 15th, 1941. Let's see what happens. My free base. Unloading, unloading. Hey, there we go. 12 centimeter, that's about a 5-inch gun. There's the torpedoes. Only one hit. Wonder how many we fired though. Hopefully not more than 2. That might sink and might not. Oh, it's AKL, it should sink. There it goes. Alright, some bombardment going on here. I'm hoping to get those damn DO-24s. If they're sitting here. Let's go ahead and burn right through these. Alright, no damage back. Did decent damage to the troops. Nope, either there's no aircraft there or I just didn't hit them. Alright, that should be it for the night phase. Alright, morning phase. More unloading, more unloading. Bad weather. Wow, a lot of bad weather. Hit hitting the airfields. Okay. Decent number of hits. This one should be airfields as well. Just want to prevent fort building as much as I can. More. Nope, this is actually attacking troops. Trying to get as much disruption and fatigue on those Hong Kong troops as possible. Here we go, the Kowloon Brigade. That's the big powerhouse left in Hong Kong. Slow those guys down. Hit those Chinese in the swamp. Come on, do some damage. Did some damage to the Hong Kong fortress. And the Canadians look like. Lost an Ida for no gain. The base force there only. There's a good hit on that Chinese course potty in movement mode in the open. He's not bombing An Kang, it seems like. Still some good firepower, and Rangoon, he's not running. And he's running pretty much everywhere else. I wasn't sure if he's still going to defend Burma at all, or just pull everything out. More bad weather. Pounding on these British troops stuck in the jungle there. Still no bombing at An Kang. It's pretty far exposed out there, and surprised though. Wonder where he put his Chinese Air Force. Not saying there's a lot of it, but he does have some bombers and some fighters. And the AVG's around somewhere. Alright. Another shot at Hong Kong. Come on. Nope. Got the force down to 0 still. We lost 200, they lost 200. Oh, mine were mostly disabled, his are all destroyed. Alright, they're weakening. The Tangus, yeah, that's a gimme fight. This is the island I forgot to take last turn. Quantan, he moved away. Oh well, they're not going anywhere. Sedate, take that one. Yep, let's see if we can hold. I'm not sure if we can. Ooh, no we did. Lost a level of fort though. Yeah. We're probably gonna lose next. What? How'd he get there? This is, I'm wondering why it took him so long to attack here. Yep, that's not surprised. At least the unit wasn't destroyed. I don't think they were here last round. What the heck? So 1 to 2 odds and I lose more men than them. Doesn't quite make sense. Well, that was the turn. Moving forward in all fronts. China's still, well, it's a cluster. I hate China. It really is the worst theater in the game. You move so slow, everything's so spread out. I don't know. If I was the emperor back in 41, whoever was in charge of China, I'd have them killed. Not even let them do it themselves for honor. Just have them hung or something, because it is a mess. Got troops everywhere and not where they should be, and just it's weird. But I'll be back in a few minutes, or moments for you, and we will go over what happened. Alrighty. So it was a eventful turn, nothing super exciting, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, most of it was expected. So why don't we just go over some of it and we'll see where we're at then. Let's go over to up here. Burma, as normal, is nothing really going on. My troops are still on the march. I've been bombing some bases up here just to do some damage to the airfield so they can't be building a bunch of forts. Doesn't look like he has any engineers here at Molmein, but he does have some probably at Rangoon. They're probably building forts for all the good it'll do them. My troops are sort by size: 28, 31, 29. So we're about halfway to Tavoy. Once we're here, we'll be on the road and we'll be traveling twice as fast. We'll probably hit this unit here, and most likely it'll flee north, then we'll chase it all the way up until we can finally destroy it. Come down into Malaya, Malaysia, whichever way you wish to pronounce it. I'm still dropping off troops at Patani, Kuantan, and actually Mersing is fully there. Kuantan is done dropping off. I think it's got 100 tons supplies left. I'm not going to wait for that. Got troops here at this little dot base. Sungai Pantani. Alostor has a naval guard unit at it. We're heading into bring them down here. I'm waiting for troops here. Waiting for these two regiments who are halfway there. They're on a road. Yep. Only half of it's a road. Okay, that's why they're slowing down. But once those regiments and that get into here, we'll go into Georgetown, take that over, and then we'll continue our march south. I'm not in a super rush to march south now, since we got Klang taken and Mersing. Klang's the important one. It blocks the rail and pretty much any progress south, unless they come over to Patu Pahat and trying to go along the beach, which will slow them way down. You can see it's a unit here. The troops got out of Kuantan without me hitting them, so there's 3 there. There's maybe 1 here, then there's several here. Georgetown troops haven't left, so all 3 of them are still there. So I probably got 10 enemy units trapped up here in Malaya. Johor Baru is good with 17 enemy units. I bombed them a little bit, but not enough. They're still building forts. Singapore is not damaged. They're probably building forts. And last time I looked, there was like 20 units in Singapore, but I haven't reconned it for a while, so I don't have a good view on that. Down here, combat I-156 caught an AKL sneaking across the northern coast of Borneo. We hit it with a couple of shells and put a torpedo into it. We heard breaking up, sinking noises after the combat, so that AKL is gone. We're going to leave her here in case there's anything else coming her way. We bombarded Singkawang. Don't really have any damage reports because we're not reconning it. But as for Sumatra and Java, we're really not doing anything there yet. I'd like to at least get into Singapore, put my troops there, maybe not take Singapore, but make sure it's kind of nullified. He doesn't have any air there units there, but if I start bringing stuff down here to go into Palembang, then he can bring his air units in here or even Batavia and start bombing it. I don't want that. Same reason I have not taken Miri or Brunei. You got just this guy's heading back from the bombardment. Here's Carrier Division 3. Probably gonna swing him around and head south to the South Pacific because that's where the US carriers were heading. I would love to get an engagement with them in December or even January, February timeframe because I might lose a carrier, but I could probably wipe out 2 or 3 of his. More invasion fleets here, more troops, more troops. I got troops on the move everywhere. Come over here. Hong Kong is still not fallen. They're not building any forts, so that's good. My men, when I looked at them, they look like they're still in decent shape, so I'll probably do another attack this turn. I'm debating on whether to do a shock attack or not, because a shock attack could break them and capture it, but if it goes poorly, it'll decimate these units. It'll take me weeks to recover. So I think I'm just going to do the steady, just deliberate attack as often as I can. Just slowly wear them down. Last one killed like 30 or 40 combat squads, so that is definitely helping. Bombardment does not. I haven't really bombed the runway much here, so doesn't have many engineers left. From Formosa, I'm still running air flights into the Philippines, bombing mostly fighters. Most of the bombs are heading up into China. See, more supplies are unloading here. Troops are moving down here to unload. Got troops moving down the west coast. Troops moving down the interior here. I took Batangas here, so we're one step away from Manila. All these troops here will be moving north into Manila, if I can talk. And looks like that base is undefended. Looks like he has a couple ships in port. Probably they're too damaged to move. Looks like he has a sub sitting there. But I'll move up here and capture all this industry, which will be good because that's 100 light industry if that report's correct. That he gets supplies every day from, and they're all going to come right up here. And they're all going right up to the Clark. Clark, I am bombing. You can see the airfield damage here, just so he can't build forts. So once I get my men gathered together and down to Clark, I should be able to push him out. I won't say easy because it is a jungle hex. So or maybe that's just the forest. It's either like ×2 or ×3 defensive bonus. And once I get him out of Clark, he'll retreat down to Bataan, which looks like he's probably building forts here because I'm not bombing it as much yet. But really, Philippines is nice. Manila is nice to have and use, but it's not super critical. Once I take Clark and force him into Bataan, I will probably move down here and just cut a couple divisions on him and wait him out for a couple weeks while his supplies burn up and my men can rest, and then we'll start the final assault. Got some more supplies coming aboard here. Once Clark and Manila fall, I'll start moving down into the Philippine Islands here. Gotta be careful. Several of these require a garrison. I think 4 of these bases produce resources, which eventually just get shipped up to Manila. Then from Manila, I ship them up back home. I got this interesting thing here. Let me move over so we can see it. This allied force. I'm not sure what it is. It was 2, 4, 6, 7. It was here last turn, if it's the same one. And I got eyes on it barely, saying it was an AM, so a minesweeper. So I'm not sure why he'd be heading west if it's the minesweeper. But he moved 7 hexes, so it's not like he's out of fuel or nothing. I'm not really sure what's up. I'm thinking it might be some sort of warship. I'm not sure what he would have in the area other than like Houston. So I'm not really sure what's up with this. I got a convoy here heading south to Babel, dropped off troops and has a little bit of supply left, but we're heading home. So I'm hoping we can avoid it. He's not seen. So hopefully that's not a big warship and we can just get down here away from it. I got 2 CVLs here, so guarding this transport fleet, who's going to go up to and drop some troops off at Davio. I got the Mira detachment. Davio appears to be empty, so we will take that. From what I can tell, he's holding up here in Malaya, where it's mountainous, so that'd be hard to crack, but it will. That, and they picked up some radio chatter from here, but it looks like he has maybe a ship in port. I'm not sure why he didn't run, unless that is the Houston. It's hard to say. But the carriers are detected, but the transport is not. So if that is the Houston, he'll probably stay away. If he pops out, it could be bad for me because I don't really have the firepower here to handle with Houston in a surface fight. So maybe I'll bomb that port as a secondary action. But just troops coming down here to Babel. The KB Oilers tankers have arrived at Babel to unload the 50,000 tons of fuel. And then we'll send them potty. They might sit here for a while so we can unload fuel from Borneo and such when we take it. We have taken Sedate here, and the regiment here will be marching north into Minado. Should make an easy fight there with this regiment, and since I have the dot base to the south, when I attack, they have nowhere to run. They will either be wiped out or surrender. Still got Xargun here. I'm on land here at Manakawari from this task force here. This next turn, you got the 4 main carriers of KB coming down here. They're a little low on fuel, so I'll probably head over to truck and top off fuel, take on some more aircraft to try to fill out my rosters. I might let us in port for a day or two to repair a little bit of damage, but depends on what's going on. And then we will be coming down into the Bismarck Sea area, Solomon Sea area here to cover our landings in this area from the US carriers. We also got the other 2 CVLs who are heading up north to join up with the other 2 CVLs up here to make a fairly powerful mini KB of 4 CVLs. That'll give me good fighters and good torpedo bomber coverage. Supply thing running up in the north. We're dropping off supplies here. I'd moved some Mavis down here to try to get some spotting in the area, and I think I just moved them there, so they're not doing much yet. Yeah, I just moved them there this turn. Got subs coming down into the South Pacific area. These are all the subs still coming home from Pearl. I'm setting up a couple screens to the east of the Marshalls. This guy also set up a patrol route here. It is a float plane, so we have better eyes. This one should also be a float plane. He's coming up here to set up the same type of a patrol here to keep eyes on the area, just in case so I don't get any nasty surprises. We're loading up troops. We're bringing stuff down. We're organized down into truck. If for those who have not looked at my variant point spending, I bought a 15 size shipyard here that I'm slowly expanding. I'm not sure how big I want to make it yet, because eventually it will be Allied control, but truck will be a hard nut to crack if he gives me enough time to build it up and put enough men there. Marianas are all mine. I still have most of the regiment and tanks out here in Wake. It'll take me a while to get ships out there to pick them up. I actually got, pretty sure that's where this guy's going. Gonna drop off some supplies and bring back men. I'm not sure where the third U.S. carrier is, so I'm a little hesitant to send a big task force out here to pick it up without air support, and my carriers are busy elsewhere. So it's got more ships moving around. This guy, oh, there's my AKEs coming down. They will most likely head over to Babel to be stationed there to support any kind of surface engagements I have in the DEI while I'm taking it. And then once that cleared, it'll head down to a truck. I believe truck is size 7 port already. Yeah, she is. So that'll reload most of the ships. It won't reload everything I got, but once I get some more naval support down here, I'll be able to reload all the main guns on all my battle wagons. Moving back up north to Japan herself. It's got convoys forming up, hauling resources from Shikuka up in the Sakhalin Islands, headed out of Hakodate. Resources here. Still organized a few other little merchies that are scattered everywhere. Getting some ships moving here, loading up troops and supplies. Using the seaplane carrier here to enlarge some float plane squadrons. Starting my convoys out of Fusan. Getting the troops loaded here in Nagasaki. And then China, the worst theater in the game, in my opinion. The highlight so far is that I have Ankang, and I still have it. I have not had any attacks back here yet. The problem is going to be supplying it, because right now I'm flying in troops. I flew in 37 AV last turn of the 58th Infantry Regiment, a good smattering of some AT guns and just plain troops. Don't have a lot of support in here yet, which is going to hurt me in the long run. See, I have 14 support, and I need 74. So I need to, as I keep flying men in, we'll slowly get the support covered out. Here's the 58th Regiment, what's left. A lot of troops left and a ton of support to move. Xinjiang fell last turn. Not a big surprise. It starts with a koi there, an airfield koi, and a construction unit. And I didn't realize that, and he moved 3 corps into it. And he did nothing for a couple turns, just bombarded. I think he finally realized what was there, and he attacked last turn, kicking me out. Luckily, the construction unit survived the attack. It is mauled, but it wasn't destroyed. I was hoping it would get away, but didn't get away. But the second best happened. It was beat up and ran away, but it still survived, which means I can rebuild this without having to waste any political points. I'm having to buy it out and then wait a month for it to arrive. He attacked here in the jungles east of Aichang. I think he's trying to trap my troops here. I repulsed him, but only just. I believe he got a 1 to 2 odds, but he inflicted more losses. My troops here are getting beat on, as you can see. But I have them moving. They are halfway out of the hex. If I can survive one more day, one more attack, then the next turn put them into move mode. I might be able to get away. The trouble is, I'm not sure what it's going to do on here with me moving into the hostile area. They won't retreat there, but I think you can still move. You see, I control the hex sides, so my men can still escape. Worst case, if he pushes me out and I retreat, I'll retreat into the swamps here, which isn't really ideal, but it's better than losing all the troops. You can see he's moving there to try to cut that off. Down here at Nankang, I got my railroad unit here, building a rail. The counterpart to him finally arrived in the hex across the river, and we'll start building the rail south. So in 25 days, I'll have a complete rail built here across here. In a few days less, the unit here in Nankang will be able to move off and head up to the next river crossing here. I'm not sure what's up with Wen Chao. I can see I have a good detection, 9 of 10, but I don't see any enemy units there, which is surprising since he put supplies there. He's not fixing the airfield damage. I'm not sure if he's even in these bases other than running away, because he abandoned Fuchao. Everything I've seen, he's heading west and north. You can see here running. I think the troops here at Nanchang are just here to hold those troops there so they can't stop this evacuation. I would not be surprised if everything here, all of southern China is emptied out. You see, even up here at Wu Chao, he's running away. I have some troops here right next to Nanning. Don't really have a good thing, but usually you can spot enemy troops 1 hex away, and I don't see any yet, so I'm not sure if there's anything there. I will be attacking here this turn. I should be able to push this crippled unit to the north, and then I would simply just follow it. This regiment's coming down here to go to Pakoi. I'm pretty sure he left the unit there. From my bombing runs, he's still there, so we will see. I'm not sure a simple regiment of 80th assault strength can take out a Chinese corps, but we will see. What else is there? Let's go ahead and look at the intelligence screen. I have 2,600 points. He still has 11,000. He's still whooping me, but most of that is all ownership of bases. Go to air losses. It says 11 planes were lost today. 9 were mine. 2 were his. Both of his were PBYs. Mine, I lost 6 to flak and 3 to ops. So I lost 9 planes. Let's go see how many pilots. 7 of them lost the pilot as well. I don't like these heavy losses. I'm trying to remember last time I started the game, and in the early, if losses are just this hard because you don't have much else to do. I mean, every plane is vital early because your factories are not producing a whole lot. I can sustain like 1, maybe 2 planes of each type a day loss, but that's still quite a bit. I'm not sure I can even cover that amount of losses this early yet. Let's see what else. Sunk ships. Go to last turn. Just that AKL. We caught with a sub. I didn't hear anything else sinking, so that is probably all that has sunk. You see, that's 45 allied ships I've claimed, losing 10 of my own. Ground unit lost none. Let's go through the production because I micromanage all of this. Engines, 3 zeros, more engines, 2 Oscars, 2 Vals, 2 Kates. Dinah, Nate, Sally, Tina, Nell, Jake, Babs. Alright, basically, if you haven't looked through my R&D that I posted in the channel, the reason I'm producing so many Vals and Kates is that I'm going to have a total of 6 factories on each of these as I expand them up. And once they hit the magic size of 30, this will be sometime in mid-February, 5 of each of these will be converted over to Jill's and Judy's for R&D purposes, leaving me with 1 of each just to cover my increase how many planes I have and cover any losses. Same thing up here with the zeros. I'm gonna have a total of 5 factories producing zeros for the time being. Once 4 of them reach size 30, they will switch over to to the M5C version and start researching that. One, I will stay with the the M2 version. I'm gonna increase that to size 90. It'll sit there and produce fighters for me for the next year or two, until I get to 5C. And then I also have the roofie factory got repairing up to go to the 5C as well. That'll give me 5 on that aircraft. Tinas I like. They're expensive to build, but they have a wonderful range. Nels, of course, everyone likes those. I currently have a size 30, so I'm making 1 a day. That's increasing up to size 60, and it'll stay there till probably late 43 maybe. Depends on when I want to switch over out of the Nels. I'm not sure I will ever. Nels are just a very useful plane. I will probably turn them off at some point, but keep the factories. Jake's, of course, is pretty much the best float plane we have. The Babs, recon. The Dinas are recon. That'll convert to the Model 3, which is the one you want. It has a good range. Nates are, well, they're Nates. It's a fighter. It's an early fighter. In some places, it can hold its own, if not even win. Definitely the Oscar is better. The Zero is much better. But you start with these Nakajima, what is that, Kotobuki engine. You start with like 70 or 80 in the pool, and the Nate is the only plane that uses them. So I turn production off on those, move the engine, and I will keep producing Nates, pretty much 1 a day until I run out of engines for them. While not a great fighter, they are useful, especially early game. Eventually, they will all be gone to Oscars, to Tojos, and so forth. But the Nates will form back up in like Kwangtung and or Japan as my training program for my fighter pilots. Because when you train them, it doesn't necessarily matter what the model is, as long as it's, fighter will let you train fighter skills and so forth. Sally, of course, is the main Army bomber. It'll be built up to size 60 and be producing until I get the Helens in like 6 months. So that's pretty much that. Going through here, make sure there's nothing abnormal. Still building a bunch of support. Some more, still swapping out howitzers and 37mm AT guns, aviation support, building all my mines. I build these for free every turn. It's the only way you get mines. You can't actually produce them with the economy. There's the sub mines. All right, everything there looks normal. Let me go ahead and bring up combat reporter. We'll go through that. December 15th. There's the sub action. There's my bombardment of Sinkawang. Did good. Looks like my guess is that there was no aircraft there. He has already moved them, but did a good job on the defenders there. Ground combat, a bunch of different ones. Not much to see. Not super exciting. Here's the one where I lost. The construction unit was chased away. You can see he has 3 cores there. Here's Ai Chang, another important one. He lowered fortune from level 3 to level 2. I lost 1,200. He lost only 1,000. He has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cores there in 2 army groups. Against my 1 division and whatever this little baby unit is not. They call it a division, but it's more like I don't know, a battalion, maybe a naval guard in strength max. Amphibious actions. These are just supplies coming ashore. Everything here is, I believe everything here is me bombing him. I don't believe he had any air action this turn. I'd also had a lot of air strikes canceled due to weather this turn. I don't like that change from, almost everything's flying to, good 20-30% of your strikes don't go. I don't like that, but it is December, so weather is shit in December. Here's my massive Signet report. You can see tons of useful information here. The only thing that might be kind of useful is that there's a lot of radio transmissions at Solar Baja. There's a repair yard there, so it might be some ships being repaired. Maybe that's where Force Z ended up, although I'm not sure he'd leave them that close. And of course, the OS report, the unknown category, which is kind of the catch-all for everything that doesn't fall in one of the other groups. It shows I'm trying to load an artillery unit. It's waiting because it's still coming off the rails. This task force is still slowly unloading at Patani because it's a crap port, and I'm unloading vehicles, most likely motorized support. Goes through here. You see my my transports doing their job, flying men into Ankang. I'm flying my paratroopers, the rest of them up to Hankau. There's the resize. And then, of course, my men are upgrading all of their devices. And I lost 3 victory points last turn due to low garrisons in China. They're bases that I think they're all dot bases that no, except for Lo Yang's a normal base. I just can't get troops to yet. It's just I'm auto capturing these things and I can't get to them, so I'm losing some points. I'm not too worried about it. Some task force information, ones that are spotted. This I don't pay much attention to this one here, but when I look at the task force, it'll tell you if they've been sighting various sighting reports from my planes. These are not all accurate, and not all of them are accurate, of course, but sometimes they will call your ships allied ships and report them here. Like, I can guarantee you, there's not 5 allied ships near Nagoya. So that is either a flat-out lie, or they spotted some of my own ships, and they're calling them allied ships. So this is, you find a gem in here once in a while, but it's not super useful. Anything that's being repaired, that has repaired, or is not, I'm using mostly as a not repair, because it tells you when ships are in port that need to be switched into a repair mode to fix like an engine damage. These are 2 ships at Guam, which has no real repair facility, so it's complaining about that, and that's just what it is. Leaders available, aircraft that are down for maintenance, bases you have captured this turn, planes that were damaged. You say damage on landing means the aircraft is damaged. Crashes on landing means most likely the pilot's dead and the aircraft's written off as ops loss. And of course, the combat, there wasn't a whole lot. Allied took Xinjiang, and I sunk that AKL. Let me pull my notes over. Get you guys another look at my notes. Here's my notes for this turn execution. Scroll up. As you can see, I track a lot of things that most people just glance at. You got scores, get my Soviet garrison, my total political points, the changes in them. Same thing here with all the 6 economic factors that there are, and I track. I track what's in the pool and then what the change was, so I can see trends. You can see I'm going through a ton of naval support, naval shipyard points, but you see I have over a million from game start. This will last me 400 and some days at this rate. So this will last me all the way into February of 43. Let me look here. I thought I put something in here, but maybe not. Just trying to establish my shipbuilding and when stuff, make sure I don't run out of points. And of course, my empire-wide stats: supply, resources, oil, fuel. how many I own in the complete empire, what change was last turn. The bold here is what my production rate is currently. So you can see I'm making supplies, I'm making extra resources, I'm refining more oil than I'm producing, and I'm using more fuel than I'm producing. Then of course under these numbers here are just the actual numbers. I'm making 4,940 oil a turn. I'm using 11,000 oil a turn. And of course 11,450 oil turns into 11,450 fuel. But I'm using 14,000 in my industry. And then up here, the resources, I'm bringing in almost 300,000 resources a turn. 140,000 are going to heavy industry. 146 are going to light. Then of course I track those same stats, but in Japan only, because that's what really matters. That's where your bulk of your industry will always be located. You have some up in Kwangtung, you get a little bit here and there, like Singapore and so forth, but in reality, Japan is the basis of your economy and will be for the entire war. So I have 9.7 million resources in my empire. 6.7 of it is in Japan. Over time, these numbers will spread out more. You see, I consumed 74,000 resources last turn. I dropped none off, and this is what I consumed my daily usage here. This is my rough estimate of how many days of that item I have. So in 85 days, if I don't bring more resources in, I will be out of resources, and my economy will just stop. 502 days of oil, 223 days of fuel. Then of course supply, which doesn't give you a daily usage because that varies per day, but you can see I used almost 80,000 supply last turn in Japan. One reason for that is that I've only been doing bits and pieces for a bunch of my factories just so they keep repairing. But last turn I went through and did a bunch of work on them. I'm not done, but I spent probably 30,000 supply on enlarging factories. Then bases that were captured, bases that lost, any facilities built, forts, ports, airfield. Don't get this area is pretty empty for a while. Then I'll start getting ground units, air units, pilots being moved into units, ships, and of course I track when my ground units arrive at their destination. So that lets me know that I need to go there and either send them somewhere else or change modes or get them into actual working to do stuff. Then of course just my general notes from turn to turn. Alright, I think that covers pretty much everything here. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and then go through and do my turn and get it sent back to Dean. If you enjoy my videos, go ahead and give it a like. If you really enjoy them, go ahead and subscribe. I'd appreciate either or both. And then I will talk with you next turn.